Can we sing the ABC anywhere? With a woolly bear or on thin air?
A is for apple, B is for bear. You wouldn't think a children's ABC book could cause controversy, even hate, but Dr. Goldfarb Bashi's picture book, P is for Palestine, has ignited fierce debate about conflict in the Middle East.
A is for Arabic. My tongue. A language that's the fourth biggest ever sung.
Bashi says her inspiration for the book came from her childhood. She grew up in Europe, the daughter of Iranian refugees.
At the time, there was hardly anything positive about my part of the world. So as a child growing up, I was yearning for something nice that I could take along to school with me.
Bashi says she knew the book would ruffle some feathers, but neither she nor local bookstore owner Chris Doblin expected things to get so out of hand.
And we started to have people walking into the store and threatening us with demonstrations in front of the store.
Doblin is the owner of Book Culture, a beloved independent bookstore near Columbia University. He supported Peas for Palestine from the beginning, buying 100 copies from the first printing.
But our staff was kind of terrorized by the actual people who would come in the store and yell, so it was very disconcerting.
Debate centered around one page of the picture book.
I is for Intifada. Intifada is Arabic for rising up for what is right, whether you're a kid or a grown-up.
Intifada, an Arabic word, literally translates to shake off or shudder. Palestinians use it to refer to the resistance against Israeli occupation of Gaza and the West Bank. Bashi says the word gets a bad rap, and that resistance has been largely peaceful.
We have only heard Intifada in relation to news about bombings. Palestinians are a diverse people, so they will resist in all kinds of ways, and it has predominantly been peaceful.
But for Israelis and Jews, the word intifada has an entirely different meaning, one that brings memories of fear and loss.
During the Intifada, walking down the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, not sure whether a bus was going to blow up next to you, walking into a pizzeria and not sure whether you'd be able to emerge whole. It's violence that purposely targets civilians. That is objectionable for anybody, let alone for children who can't even read.
Stephen Wise Synagogue was in the midst of planning a children's book fair with Book Culture. But many parents of the synagogue were upset about the book. So Rabbi Emil Hirsch reached out to Doblin.
I don't own a bookstore, and it's not for us to tell bookstore owners how to run their bookstore. It was simply a question of us clarifying for ourselves what their views were on Israel, on the Intifada, on violence and terrorism.
Rabbi Hirsch drafted a joint statement to be posted on the synagogue's website, to which Doblin agreed. It states that Book Culture supports Israel's right to exist and condemns terrorism. The book fair went ahead as planned. But it didn't end there. The statement only caused new controversy for Book Culture, this time from Palestinian supporters.
It just really was like a sweeping condemnation of what we would consider basic Palestinian, dignity, human rights.
Students for Justice in Palestine, a group at nearby Columbia University, say that they will boycott Book Culture until they retract the statement and issue a new one affirming Palestinian rights.
The end goal is just like what we think is very basic, which is like don't call Palestinians terrorists. Like we want Book Culture to continue and we want Book Culture to thrive, but not if they're going to use Palestinian, dignity as a stepping stone for their for their business.
But Doblin says Book Culture won't be making or retracting any more statements. He's learned he can never make everyone happy. And, he says, the role of an independent bookstore has been, and always will be, a place for exchanging ideas.
We'll continue trying to have these discussions, and we'll continue trying to present these ideas down here, and hopefully we'll be the center of a lot more raucous debate in the future.